Hello. Sorry, I'm turning Wi-Fi off. So we'll see how this does tonight. Kiddos are home. So, I don't know. Hi, Michelle. How are you doing tonight? I guess I do always normally do water updates. I do have my water here. I'm not quite at my 40 ounces for the day. I don't know. I did lose my problematic. Other than that, it's been going well. Hi, Red. How are you doing today? I was going to say, and breaking news. My son moved a door and the cat is on the other side of it. So if you hear any loud booms or bangs, he pulled it down on himself. So number one, I always use this cup that I want to say is 16 ounces. All my calculations are done on it being 16 ounces at any rate. It might be, now I'm curious. And of course it's full, so I don't know. There's a QR card on the bottom. But yeah, like I only use this for water. It always has my straw in it. And I don't really track it anywhere. That's another thing. If I start trying to track it, it's an immediate bomb on my end. That's kind of that way with a lot of things. So my goal is to drink 2.5 of these a day. And I will typically start that when I start taking medicine in the morning. So like I'll have a few swallows when I do my slippery elm. And then I usually go through making my morning handful of stuff. So that's a good start on it. Yeah, I'm like, that's a lot bigger than a water bottle, but yeah, I don't know. It's a Yeti. Would have information on their website. Either way, I'm drinking 2.5 of these a day. Hanging in there. I'm doing pretty well. I had a chiropractor appointment today, so I'm kind of sore. But I'm not out yet, and so that's doing better than last month. And I finished punching holes and sorting all of my medical stuff into, and it's about this one. But it's like, I've got it divided out by year. And then, so as far as medical files coming into the house, all I have to do is punch a hole in it and put it in the front. Punch a hole in it and put it in the front. And then I can just, every year, I'll put a divider page in with the new year on it. Yeah, I actually love going to my chiropractor. She's a fellow gardener. So we compare what's going on, what we're having pest pressure on, if stuff's blooming, and like I was thinking I was way behind on everything. And she's like, no, I still don't have anything either. She's gotten a few green beans. One thing I have been getting out of the garden lately is radish pods. I didn't pull my radishes that bolted, or at least not all of them. And they produce these like little pea pod things. They're spicy, but I don't mind spicy. But they're just really, I haven't been able to find anything on lectin content, because like I can't eat like green beans or pea pods out of the garden. And honestly, even cooked green beans for me are a problem. So I would have to pressure cook them if I could get them back at all, I would expect. Well, yeah, I do have to agree with that part of it. Like an hour until in the shower and my daughter's going, I was gonna take a shower. Are you about done? Because they went today too. Honestly, I don't go out a whole lot. So like I went out looking for a fan last week because I had a fan die. By the way, is the fan in the background too loud? 3 or 4 stores in one day, and that was a little much for me. But yeah, so we went to the chiropractor and came home, and my son practiced his parallel parking and was having just a horrible time. I mean, like he had the concept down, but like he was why. I finally realized he was backwards because like we're like trying to set this up at the end of our driveway pretty much. He's on the wrong side of the vehicle because I'd let my daughter pull the other one out. He would have wound up on the sidewalk side instead of on the street side, which when you're parallel parking, you have to get out into traffic. Why is that? Like, why did they design that way? But yeah, as far as the chiropractor goes, we just have like this agreement that I'll go in every month. I'm not going to like let it go to some crazy time frame. And she'll just, it's like Humpty Dumpty. She just puts me back together again every month. You're hearing an echo. Well, let's try this. Is that better? Because at this point, I don't have any phones on, much less on a YouTube. I guess it would help you know if there's still an echo if I continued to talk, wouldn't it? Oh dear. But yeah, so does it get easier? Is that better? I was really kind of surprised. So I went looking for fans, right? Because I didn't really want to go to Walmart. I fought with Walmart online for like half an hour, 45 minutes. and they didn't want to ship it to me, but then if I switched it to pickup, it wasn't available, sort of thing. So I went to Tractor Supply. The cheapest fan they had was $80. And so then I went to Aldi's. They only had ones that fit in a window, like these two little fans. It's like, yeah, I don't want. And I'm like, okay, before I go to Walmart General, hi, Xanadu. How are you guys doing tonight? It's not bad here tonight as far as temperature goes. It's a bit sticky because it's been raining for days. And I guess it looks like we're going to rain for the rest of the week too. We really need to mow. And like, even when it's not raining, it never really dries the grass off. I'm in northern Indiana, almost to Michigan. Those are both of you guys tonight. I don't really have a set topic tonight. I was just kind of, I don't know. I've been kind of out of it the last couple days. I've been getting a fair amount of stuff done. It's just the planning side of my brain has not been going well. Oh, that smells so good. Yeah, so normally we would mow every week during the summer months, unless it's really dry, which it had been really dry. And then we had a week where it rained nonstop. It stopped for a week, and then it's raining on. So it was sort of more overnight into the morning on Saturday. But my daughter didn't really want to mow that day. And it wasn't supposed to really be. Yeah, no. And then it's been like off and on all day today too. So sort of enough to be annoying and cool enough not to dry off because the sun never really comes out. So at one point, the Wednesday forecast was that we would be dry with partial sun. So hopefully the trailer park doesn't get too upset about it until then. Hi, Jennifer. How are you doing tonight? Yeah, and it's like, not that I'm ignoring it. It's just, I need it to dry out because the mower we have, it's like a mulching mower, and it used to have a side chute where you could get it out from under the mower deck, and that got lost. But you're supposed to be able to just let it just kind of come out underneath the back, and it's just, you can't do a whole lot when it's super wet that way. Well, that's good. Did you enjoy your bike ride? So, okay, Xanadu, I know you're not too terribly far away from me. Do you have any idea when it's supposed to stop raining? Because the last time I checked, it literally was out to the end of the forecast. I'm doing pretty good. I was going to say, just a little scattered today. See, I'm not. So if I was not in the trailer park, it wouldn't matter. But since I'm in the trailer park, they want us to mow at least once a week. Or like they will sit there and threaten to mow your yard for you and charge you $70. Which, you know, considering it literally takes 10 to 15 minutes to mow, is astronomical. But I don't know. I guess if this part is like my neighbors, they went months without mowing last year. And I finally stopped the guy when he did finally start mowing their yard because I was getting tagged every single week for weeds and stuff. And I'm like, all right, I got tagged for the weeds, and I like pointed out the area that that they were tagging me on because like they would make notes around the back steps. No joke. The neighbors, it was knee high because they weren't mowing it and they weren't directing the park people to mow it. And I'm like, you know, if I'm getting tagged for cement that's growing up in a sidewalk area, they should really have to actually do something. And it was sort of end of the season, and he had somebody out here with a weed eater within an hour. So, and I have this year. So hopefully they've just got somebody else doing the tagging now. That's a little more fair. Yeah. Yeah, and unfortunately, I mean, it was a pretty obvious racial issue. And it's like, you know, I just want it to be fair. You know, if you're going to tag me, you might want to tag them. But, and it was like literally the 3 houses around me would never get tagged. So I'm not sure if it was just relatives, because I know they're the 3 houses that weren't getting tagged are all related. I don't know. It was just bizarre. That's all it was. It was bizarre. Yeah. And there's, you know, anywhere you live, if you've got some sort of association type situation, which I really don't want in the future, whenever we move wherever we're moving. I don't want to deal with an HOA. I don't want to deal with a trailer park. Just, no. Yeah, and I hate to say this, Jennifer. So I live in a trailer park year round, like with my house trailer. I also have a camper at a campground that I haven't been to this year. Like I've set foot on the campgrounds once. And I'm waiting for the nasty gram that, oh, we're going to do this and that and charge you what up there. Yeah. I've never heard really anything good come out of HOAs. I mean, am I missing something? To me, it seems like they add a lot of stress. I mean, there was a point in time I would get home from work and see a piece of paper on my door, and I would start having panic attack symptoms because it was like I already had no energy from just work. And oh, you have to have your yard mowed by 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. It's just, I don't know. That's been one of my issues with anxiety for years, is maybe lack of transition. Like, if you're going to spring something on me, you need to spring something on me slowly. Give me time to get a plan together, get it taken care of. With actual full-blown panic attacks, like, I finally got it through to some of the first responders. You know, it doesn't really matter what my trigger was. If I don't have a plan to deal with whatever that trigger was, my panic attack's going to keep starting over as soon as I start thinking about going back to whatever I was doing. My chiropractor was trying to convince my daughter that we needed a house chicken. We're definitely not allowed farm animals. We're only allowed 2 other animals unless they have a prescription attached. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not huge on the idea of farm animals because I like to sleep in. Is that horrible? And I would like to travel. Maybe not all the time, but I would like to travel some, and it just makes it harder if you have a bunch of animals. Yeah, I don't deal well with nitpicking. Yeah, I don't know. It's just not my thing. I'm okay with imperfection, even though I'm a perfectionist, unless it's like, if I have to sit there and be striving for perfection constantly, I just kind of go crazy. So, I don't know. Not right, but to this week, do you have big plans? Is anybody else working on decluttering? This thing keeps poking me. Oh, around here, many people live in campgrounds year round. So like the campground my camper is out, there's, I think, 2, maybe 3 people that live there year round. I think one of them has basically beefed up their camper insulation wise, and then the other's in like an actual building of winter groundskeepers. But like the trailer park I live in, it's manufactured homes. So it's not like living in a camper. They're designed for they're on a trailer, if that makes sense. I'm trying to think, like, all right, so this wall here is an outside wall, and then this wall here is an outside wall. So they're oversized loads. Like my trailer's 14 feet wide. Thanks, Cassie. It's 14 feet wide, and I've got a 14 by 70, but that also includes the hitch, which they basically cut off and stick under the trailer, and then when you want to move your trailer, they'll weld it back on. So it's a 67-foot box. So, I mean, do people have stuff like that? And then, like, see if I can, like, so it doesn't completely follow the roof line. Like, there's a little bit, I can't point to the screen and have you see what my finger, so like, there's less insulation here than up at the point. But there's still probably a good 6 inches of insulation there. And stuff on pipes, so stuff doesn't freeze. It's all enclosed by skirting. It's kind of like a modular home, only they don't actually take it off the trailer. I don't know. I'm probably explaining this terribly. Yeah, and it's like I'm not going to travel on the road with chickens. So, like, I've got my cats, and I could just take them with me a little bit. Yeah, I can see that. I was going to say, I finally got my medical records book, like, hole punched and put away, so it's finally off the kitchen table. I'm just kind of, I'm to that micro sorting point. And trying to whittle down what exactly it is I need. And see, that's what I would like Xanadu. That would be awesome. Hi, Travis and Yanai. How are you guys doing? Hi, Recyclable. Hey, Eric. My cousin has a trailer. Cousin has a trailer park permanently parked, and she goes there on the weekends, well, except for winters. Yeah. So our campground, there's actually, it gets confusing. So this is a single wide mobile home trailer. This one happens to be 2 bedrooms, but you could make it 3. I kind of have made it 3, but like you can buy them in 3 bedrooms. And it's $900. You can buy park models, which get classified as RVs, and can't be over 400 square feet. And a lot of the times, like, we have seasonal campgrounds here, and a lot of people will put a park model on a permanent lot, and it just sits there, has the skirting, looks similar to like, it's just smaller. A lot of times they'll have like 1 bedroom and a loft for kids, that kind of thing. It's not terribly common to move actual mobile homes here because it's expensive. I've moved mine. When I originally bought it, it was at a trailer park about 5 miles away. And I wound up changing trailer parks, and as part of the deal with that, they were running like this special thing to get people to move here. So the trailer park actually paid to have my mobile home moved, but a single wide's about $4,000. And come to find out, I guess mobile homes are not terribly common everywhere. For those of you that don't know, I live in Elkhart County, Indiana. We make these things here. So like, I have a Schultz mobile home. It was manufactured probably about 10 minutes that way. And we also make like park models that are similar to this, but then we also make lots and lots of travel trailers or RVs. And arguably, there's not a whole lot of people in Canada that would be in RVs year round, but there are some. Not by choice this last year, I don't think. Get across the border this winter and it will be fine. Yeah. Well, and then like they just pulled, not the neighbor directly across from me, but the one kind of catty corner, they just pulled their mobile home out. And I stopped the guys as they were leaving and asked where it was moving to. Tired of the way this park is doing things, because like they didn't open the pool this year. Rent increases, various things like that, and then park politics. It's apparently going to a reseller in Michigan, but they said that a lot of them go to resellers in Wisconsin. Okay. I was going to say, you're like small, 24 by 40. And I'm going, well, it's twice the size of mine. No, it wouldn't be because it's shorter. All right, so you're only 20 feet smaller than my single wide is. But yeah, and it's like, people thought I was absolutely nuts when after my first panic attack, somewhere in the next year or so, I figured out that part of my problem was too much space. So I was going to downsize. I found like, I think it was probably it was older. It was a nice size. It was about 600 feet, 650 square feet. That fell through, but I don't know, teenagers, and this is a good size for us. It's probably not the best layout for like a full family, but it's worked pretty well for us. And I only paid $5,700 for mine because it was part of an estate before the end of the year. So even with the lot rent as high as it is now, it's still cheaper than what I could rent anything for. Oh, most definitely. And I mean, that's they haven't opened the office on regular basis since last year either. Like, so even if you have an issue, you can't get a hold of anybody. And we'll get back to you, and they rarely do. Although I do think they've been probably a little bit better at returning phone calls than when the office was open. But normally not. But it is what it is. They still let me plant fruit trees. So, hey Karen, how are you doing tonight? And like when I originally moved here, it wasn't owned by the same people it is now. So I don't know. I mean, it's a different. I've got my fruit trees. My peach tree's looking really good this year. What are you up to tonight, Karen? See, what I would really like to do is move this trailer to like a campground or something. That way I'd have the acreage with water infrastructure that, like, you know, you could get water to various places. I was thinking about it the other day, probably a year ago. Like an old closed down nursery might work well too, because they would already have like greenhouses and things. And then, you know, you could like build raised beds that are like waist high, like on kind of like hugelkultur beds. Put chickens in there and they'd keep it warm. Oh, fruit trees are awesome. I've got, so I planted, well, I didn't plant, a friend, a peach tree, mainly because I was not in physical shape to dig that big of a hole. Anyway, we planted a peach tree. We're not sure when. We moved over here in September of 2009, and we're not sure if it was spring of 2010, fall of 2009, but it was somewhere in there. And like, she's just loaded with peaches this year. And then I was also buying bushels of peaches. Hey, Reef Robber, how are you doing tonight? I was also buying a couple bushels of peaches every year. Canning, freezing, that kind of thing. And I was dumping the pits and the peels and everything in a compost pile. And over the years, popping up in the compost pile from the peach pits that I dumped years ago. So now I've got producing yet. And then I planted a Mount Morenzi cherry tree. I actually planted 2 cherry trees and 2 apple trees, and 1 cherry tree made it. So spit cherry pits down alongside the house, like usually sweet cherries. So I've got a volunteer cherry tree like right next to the house. And I time got away from me and it warmed up too quick this spring, so I didn't get it moved this spring, but in the fall I will definitely move it. I wasn't even round. I was probably 100 pounds less at that point. I just didn't physically have the energy because I was not terribly functional. My health, I might be heavier than I've ever been, but my health is actually in better shape than it's been in probably 20 years. So, what kind of trees did you plant, Michelle? Mackerel. So my lot rent is only 505 to start with. When I moved in, I don't know if it was here or if it was when I moved into my trailer at the other place. It was 370. If it was at the other place, it would have been 370 plus water. Here it would have just been 370. And I've been here since 09. And I've been in this trailer since New Year's Eve of 0506. So yeah, 600 to 860 in 4 years is insane. I have no cherries that I can see right now. Oh wow. I'm not even sure what I'm supposed to be. I think they would like, in between they wanted me to get down to 160. I think I hit 170 about the time I found out I was pregnant. And then the last time I got weighed, I was like 324. Just out of curiosity, Jennifer, because I've pretty well and the MCAS stuff situated, and I haven't yet started delving real deep into the PICO stuff. Do you have a special diet you focus on for that, or any particular channels that have been helpful? I kind of figured you were shorter than me if you were saying you had gained 85 pounds and you were 125. Because, yeah, when in between 5'11" and a half, I'm 5'10" now. So, it's one of those, I haven't looked up what the new yes, sometimes that shocks people when I say I'm that tall, but and see that's what scares me with paleo. The one time I was doing really well on paleo, I wound up in keto, and that's what started all the histamine issues. And see, for me, the whole height thing, I'm just at the point, it is what it is. Because I figure it's not like I can control how tall I am. And see, I wasn't trying to go keto when I was doing paleo. I just and I dropped like 40 pounds in 2 or 3 months. I don't know. There are some things that it would be much easier if I wasn't so tall. Why do I have a feeling that Xanadu has Bear at the keys right now? Oh. 40 pounds in 2 or 3 months would have been great if it hadn't come with uncontrollable dizzy spells, getting sick, and having issues. Oh, and see, and Michelle, the funny thing about that is every time I try to lose weight, I gain it. And that's where I'm kind of, it's like, I want to feel good and I want to enjoy my food. I was going to ask you about that one time. Do you prefer Jen? I'll call you Jennifer, but I can shorten it if you would like. And see, the dizziness for me is mast cell related for the most part. Like, so most of those in check by taking mast cell stabilizers like moringa or lemon balm. It won't be Jenny because I've got a niece named Jenny, but okay. What I come up with in comments. If it turns into Jen or if it's Jennifer. I really need to figure out, like, I would like to be able to do more in turn and doing stuff like that. I seem to do really well physically, like I feel better and everything if I can how do I want to say that? Like, I feel better if I'm doing like normal daily activities rather than like, okay, I'm going to do 20 jumping jacks, which I wouldn't do anyways because that would be really bad for me. Oh, my chiropractor would kill me. Yeah, I haven't figured out. The other thing is with the mast cell issues, raising my heart rate is problematic because that will send me into degranulation. So just out of curiosity, Jennifer, the dizzy issue, you said you've got PCOS and Hashimoto's, right? Yeah, I actually, there was one gym that I actually liked. One. And it was a physical therapy gym. So I had torn my meniscus I didn't tear the meniscus itself. I tore it away from the bone. And the ortho actually said he did not want to operate on me, therapy, which was fine. I was just happy that he said, look, you won't heal well. I don't want to do this. But the way they operated it, like, you knew the equipment because you had been going there for physical therapy, and then you could pay like $20 after you finish physical therapy to keep coming back. And basically, the patients had like first rights to any event, but usually, like, they would just, like, if you were doing something and they were going to need it, the PT would just say, hey, we're going to need that machine in like 15 minutes. And never have to move off the one you were in. And then the thing with that is most of the people that were in that gym were there for physical therapy. So it wasn't like people actually more likely in better shape than they were. Because, like, you know, when you're in physical therapy, you're there for a reason and you're not able to do some things. So, yeah, it was so painful. Yeah, and that's going to be a project in the next couple of weeks. There's a chance I might be able to get on a different plan that might be cheaper than the health share that I've got now. So I don't know. Do you guys have to pay anything for your medical? Or is it just like in your taxes? Come on over. So, Jennifer, there's this issue with moving north. I don't like shoveling snow here, much less as much as you guys get. Just prescriptions. I was going to say, and at this point, I don't get prescriptions because they tend to cause problems. Yeah, every time I try to lose weight, I gain it, which was very frustrating. It's kind of weird. Going back through the paperwork, it's like I had almost forgotten that I had done like this medically managed weight loss thing. Of course, it was one of those things, well, you're pre-diabetic and this, that, and the other thing. And they had me working with a dietitian, my doctor, they had like a gym area, but it was like associated with the hospital somehow. But of course, most people that were going there to get weight loss surgery. So many months of all this counseling and stuff. And I don't know, it was a little bit bizarre, but it's like the dietitian, I could eat absolute crap, and I'm talking like junk food and fast food and eating, lose weight. I would eat healthy and stuff that made me feel okay, and I would gain every single week. There was the big crash. I'll be right back. Yeah, can I let you deal with this? He's back here now, so just move it over that way. I'm not sure, but he seems to be okay.
Here I was just assuming you would message me on Facebook saying you were done. Try and break walls with a metal door.
It wasn't me that made it go down.
Oh, it wasn't?
No, Charlie pulled it down.
Well, he really wants back.
Sorry, guys. I tried to lock my cat out of my room. Apparently, that was not appreciated. Did I mention that the door that my son moved was not attached to anything? British Columbia is West Coast, yes? So, Michelle, it's funny you said, that's one of the things I struggle with. Because with the mast cell stuff, if my heart rate raises too much, I will have, like, my mast cells will degranulate, which will spike my histamine, and then I'll wind up with, like, massive headaches and that kind of thing. For a while, I was doing, like, 10 leg lifts every time I went to the bathroom, or 10 wall push-ups, or that kind of thing. I just had trouble sticking with it. Wait, so you still pay for... So you pay for a plan through work, but then you also pay for it through your taxes? I was going to say, I would love to eat organic. I eat organic out of my own garden. But it's really expensive to eat all organic. Your plan at work covers your prescriptions and dental, and you don't pay anything. All right, so your job pays for prescription and dental insurance, and the government pays for the rest, like your medical insurance. I was a very unhealthy vegetarian. Hi, Banana. How are you doing tonight? So what is a normal, like, percentage? Like, I know in Europe, a lot of times it's usually about 50% of pay goes to taxes. Is that more or less, or does it vary in Canada? Sorry, I'm just completely clueless. Duncan, that an actual true allergy, I don't know. It could be arguable that everybody is sensitive to the wheat as it currently is. And just fair warning, I typically deal in sensitivities, not allergies. Because with histamine stuff, you can react to things and not be allergic to them. But Xanadu, look at how much the food has changed. I was in a live chat with 30 and a Wake Up yesterday, and he goes through and answers every single question people have. And somebody asked him what he thought about some little island place where anybody that gets close to the island or tries to come on the island, they'll just kill them. Just that's the end of it. And it was, we started Denton. It's kind of one of those things of, you know, they could, you know, let people on the island if they wanted to, but they choose not to. And they've lived presumably the same way for years and years and years and years with whatever resources they have on the island. So if you think about it, there's a good chance that they don't have the health issues that we do from the food that we eat. I missed something. Some states do run a balanced budget. I did actually research some of the aspects of healthcare elsewhere when everything changed with Obamacare coming in. And I'm really sort of, I am in the group that it was supposed to help, and it has not helped in any way, shape, or form. It's made it less easy for me to pay for the healthcare I need, and none of the healthcare I need is covered by any of the plans or any of the healthcare I can get. And like right now, I've got a health share, which isn't even true insurance. It was only going to be $140. Because I'm overweight, it's $240. And I've been paying for this since last October. So far, and like until I hit my $1,500 deductible, they won't really cover anything, but like they can just help reduce amounts. So they've helped me with $55. So it's like, it's really frustrating because what would be nice is if I could get some sort of a plan that would cover natural medicines. Oh, Eric, I don't remember what the name of the island is. It's one of those things it's never been infiltrated. Nobody's been able to study them or anything. And various countries around there kind of try to protect them and keep people out because they literally kill everybody that gets close to the beach. Apparently there was some travel vlogger that tried to go spread religion, I guess. It was his plan. And it sounded like they were like somebody went under cover of night to pull his body off the beach type of thing. But I mean, if that's the way you've always lived, you're not going to be afraid. And, arguably it's levels of clothing before, like, civilized society. This is an interesting topic, Michelle. A lot of land has been stripped of its nutrients, so it kind of depends on where you get your vegetables from. If they're factory farmed and stuff, they're not going to be as nutritious as what our grandparents were. If you had like a little pretty well, you produced your own food, you composted and stuff and fed the soil. Whereas if it's grown in a giant monoculture, it's definitely not doing that. Oh, so histamine is, I don't know that it's actually a hormone. Or an enzyme. I'm not really sure what exactly it would be classified as. But it is something that your body uses to send signals back and forth within it. But like there's this concept of histamine bucket. You need about that much in it to actually do your basic biological functions. But then food that's old, so like say you had leftovers and they sat in the refrigerator for a couple of days, those will chemically over time, there are things that process, I think it's histidine into histamine, and then eventually so that will raise your bucket. Stuff like dust, if you're sensitive to dust, that will raise your bucket. Pollen will raise your bucket if you're sensitive to that. For me, one of the big things is lectins that are found in most plant foods. Will also cause my mast cells to degranulate. And when part of a normal immune response, that will also release histamine. So basically the goal is to keep your bucket from overflowing. Once your bucket overflows, then you start having symptoms. Hopefully that made sense as to how I explained that. So Xanadu, I'm probably not the best one to ask about this. I was an anthropology major in school. Was it written in stone? No. But they've got these things called middens, which are basically giant trash heaps from previous ages that people actually pay archaeologists to dig up, and they can basically find what people were eating by looking. Fun fact of the day. Eric, what show? Because I haven't owned TV and probably we owned a TV briefly for a little while, but I haven't actually had it hooked up to anything. in a good 15, 16 years, something like that. My insurance doesn't pay my... Hi, Michelle Noel. I'm sorry I missed you coming in. I was going to say, and see, right now, my issue with insurance is unless you can get a doctor to order the labs that you need, insurance won't cover those either. So right now, I'm paying any functional or herbal guidance out of pocket, and I'm paying for all my supplements out of pocket. Unfortunately, I do agree, Xanadu. Health insurance is a bunch of for-profit companies. They are not nonprofit. Holy cow, guys. All right. Banana, I will disagree with you on this. Because, like, for me, a lot of the things people would say are healthy to eat make me sick. Things like strawberries or even a perfectly healthy meal that's left sitting in the refrigerator for a day and a half will make me sick. And arguably things that people say are good for you, like things like squash or beans or brown rice, those would all make me sick as well. So I don't know. It's one of those things. There's a learning curve if you have any sort of chronic health issue. What might work for Michelle to eat that works okay even with her thyroid issues might not work the same for me with the hormone and mast cell issues, if that makes sense. I was about to ask Jennifer that's what we do here, and then I saw Michelle's comment about it would be nice to just pay the taxes and not have to worry about medical and logistics. My problem with that is I don't necessarily trust the people that would be making the decisions in regards to the healthcare in this country. Well, that's good, Xanadu. And it jumped. There's no way I'm 120 comments behind. So here's my issue with the whole healthcare thing. I'm at the point I can't take regular medication. I can't get around enough. They actually want to delve into it enough to help without giving me medication. So my problem is, in order to, and at this point they have taken the penalties away, because at one point we were getting fines if we didn't carry health care coverage. So at that point you have to buy health insurance money to pay for the health insurance. Then on top of having to pay for whatever medical you actually get because you don't have insurance, you also have to pay at tax time so much money because you didn't have insurance, if that makes sense. They did finally, Trump got rid of the penalty for it. But it's one of those things where I'm concerned that if I was to get rid of it, the issue of catching COVID, then I'd have a lot of problems. But none of the health insurance is really affordable. I mean, when I started looking at plans, a plan that wouldn't cover anything except like basic female exam each year. So like it wouldn't cover anything related to having kids or if there was more extensive issues. Just for me, not me and my kids, just for me was going to be $768, and anything related to reproduction was going to be on top of that. So it's one of those, if we weren't in the current state of affairs, I'd really prefer to just not have insurance, and I would have more money to pay my chiropractor to get help from a naturopath or a functional doctor. Congratulations, Michelle. So there are a few places that you can get blood work done without a doctor's order, because they basically have an in-house doctor that will sign off on whatever testing you want to pay for, is basically what it gets down to. I was hoping my rheumatologist would order basic labs for me, but because I am not taking the medication he would typically prescribe to somebody, he won't order labs. So, it's like typically my old rheumatologist, I could have him check the basic thyroid stuff. I think it was probably just TSH. But then he could get like the basic A1C, like the basic stuff you would normally get every year, as like a well-rounded panel, I guess, or whatever. But now it's like I have to pay for that, and I think the base $150, and then there's a few other things I would like to get tested. So all in, without adding anything to what I had been doing, it's just in lab fees, and the results aren't quite as detailed as if I would get them from a doctor. It's more of like a high, medium, low rather than a number on a scale. Oh, we actually used to watch that at my dad's occasionally, Eric. Kind of interesting. Some people tried to talk Ray from Van Life Rocks into going on that one. Congratulations to you as well. I'm not sure what TAHBSO is. Well, that cut down Michelle Noel. Just so you guys, Michelle Noel, my everyday wife life is also Michelle. So in Indiana, the concept is if you, and I'm guessing it's probably the same for Florida, if you make under a certain amount, you're supposed to be able to get Medicaid. In my situation, I inherited some when he passed. I would have to basically just get rid of all of that. Because to be on Medicaid, you can't have more than $2,000 worth of assets. Equity in your home, I don't think counts towards that. But, so like the situation I've run into, when I tried to get on, I was trying to research the marketplace when I was at my last job. And according to them, my daughter should qualify for Medicaid, so they wouldn't cover her at all, even though Medicaid won't cover her. So like I was paying, trying to think, it worked out to be over $300. I think, well, actually, so when I was furloughed, I was paying $430 a month for health insurance through my previous employer because they said I couldn't cancel it for me and my 2 kids. And when I had tried to get onto one of the marketplace plans, because I was carrying my kids' insurance, they wouldn't cover them because they should have qualified for Medicaid, but they wouldn't cover them on Medicaid. And I couldn't, it was bizarre. But yeah, yeah. I don't really understand the whole marketplace, but I don't know. We're going to try it again, see if I can find somebody to talk to get questions answered and see what I can come up with. So yeah, I don't know. Our healthcare system is a mess. I don't think there's really any way else to say it. Hi, Jill. All right. Short and insurance. Okay, I read that. Yes, definitely. Even people with histamine intolerance, like what works for me might not work for somebody else. By the way, I am looking for snack ideas. Like when you don't really want to make an entire meal, but you just need something quick without dirtying a whole lot of dishes. Michelle Noel, I definitely agree on this point. If it's outside that 15-minute window, it's very hard to get and if it doesn't fit the cookie cutter. Okay, Michelle, that brings up, isn't Hashimoto's an autoimmune disease where basically your body attacks your thyroid? How does it attack a thyroid that's not there? His name is Charlie. Attachment issues. Apparently, to get in here is a problem. This is very true. I mean, the first time I had a panic attack, I was refusing to get help because I couldn't afford to pay for it. A friend 2 states away had to track down a number for EMS. Oh, and I just found the finance paperwork for all that. All in, I think I wound up paying about $1,500, and I only paid about half of what the bills were. Curiosity. Have you ever gotten anything tested as far as MTHR genetic stuff? Hi, Jill. I'm not sure if I had said hi to you or not. I'm sorry. Total abdominal hysterectomy, bilateral salpingo. Okay. I at least understood the first part of that. It jumped. $34. Interestingly enough, I seem to have issues with anything synthetic, like at all. I am currently taking Oregon grape, not at the dosages that I've been told I could take. I take 2 in the morning and 1. And I believe I could double those. And I probably will go up on those at some. Because taking whole herb, Oregon grape, the dosages, like what you get for that dose was way less than when I was taking straight berberine, if that makes sense. And I can't off the top of my head remember how much I was taking of the berberine. I can tell you I was getting it from Vitacost, and if you go back and look at my supplement videos, I'm sure I gave the dosage I was taking. And it's raining, I hear it. Jill, was the pregnant or breastfeeding comment about the berberine? I'm gonna do if that 400 plus for health insurance a month. I'm also, well, at that point I was making less than $25,000 a year, but too much to qualify for Medicaid. So like $768 at that point would have been roughly a third of my budget for the month. I missed something. How did we go to charcuterie boards? Oh my word. Jill, I will take any advice you have on finding a doctor who listens and takes time. I'm just going to second this recommendation. I had fibro symptoms after I had my daughter. And that book helped me phenomenally. The only thing I didn't get completely dialed in was the thyroid issues. Panic Queen. Interesting. Have you been working? Arguably, testing for gluten intolerance isn't really of much use. My thought on the MTHFR stuff is that they have actually found some SNPs that seem to affect metabolism and can like almost shut off your metabolism to some degree. So if you can, at least what I was reading was, if I understood it correctly too, it was kind of hard to follow, but basically if you could work with the SNPs that you had in terms of cleaning those up, and because like a lot of times the SNPs regulate how well you process certain things. So buy random things and not process it. I'm probably not saying that right. But if you're overloaded with something, instead of like you could somehow sort of detox the things that were backed up, which would then turn off that SNP and your metabolism would come back. If I understood that correctly. I just haven't had the money to take the testing on it. I am not following some of this. I'm too far behind. I am sorry, guys. And I don't know that like I mentioned a couple weeks ago, but it just seems like if it's attacking something else, it would be classified as a different autoimmune disease. Like fibro attacks the myelin sheath, or I don't even know. Sorry, there's so many of them anymore. Oh, you're right. I did ask about snacks, Jennifer. I am so sorry. Like, how did we get to charcuterie boards? Most cheeses are not okay. But, like, I could do mozzarella. And I wonder how I would do with olives at this point. They're canned. I might have to play around with that. Have a great night. I'm so far behind. Hope you and Dawn have a wonderful evening. Hey, Scully. How is your night going? Scully, totally off topic here, but did you come into Cassie's live with Tarot Terry the other night? They're not mutually exclusive. That being said, like, your situation with having had your thyroid removed might put you in a different place, but, like, I don't know how many times it's like a lot of the autoimmune things, it seems like people are told they're incurable. And while I get that there's no cure, books like From Fatigue to Fantastic, it changed my mindset in how I thought of them. So, like, and keep in mind that my daughter is 15. So I was reading this when she was about 2. But the concept is there's usually a trigger of some sort or a catalyst, whether it's a prolonged infection or some sort of trauma, and it throws something off in your body, okay? Now keep in mind, From Fatigued to Fantastic was written for fibromyalgia. And the idea that the author puts forward is you wind up with those trauma states, not that you're trying to heal from. If you don't completely heal that entire thing, whether it's an illness or like a car accident or something, if you don't completely heal all of the things, then you wind up with this situation where it's sort of a domino effect. So for me, I moved into this trailer. My son and I wound up with the flu. Like, we were down for like a good week with the flu. My son got better. He was about 2 at the time. But like my mom came and picked him up so I could rest because I was still so sick I couldn't take care of him. So she gave me a couple days, and like most of the symptoms like had gone away, like I wasn't puking or running to the bathroom type of stuff. But I still had the continued fatigue. I still had things going on. And then over time, things going on. And whether it was my body was here, and as it continued, the like vitamin and mineral levels continued to drop, and then that brought on other things. So like you never really got everything taken care of at once. And the way the book explains it, you basically have to treat everything and get it all, and it will go away. Now, that's difficult to do, but it's possible. But it's like you can't treat the thyroid symptoms, and then when they get better, stop treating those and treat something else. You have to keep treating those and just add on, if that makes sense. I was going to say, I don't, and this might be different. So like we had university run hospitals up here for a while, and I didn't notice that, but we also weren't close to the university. And it jumps. Yeah, there's so many studies about gluten being a problem, and a lot of it a lot of the research doesn't necessarily focus on the lectin issue, but between gluten and dairy, they drastically don't help your gut. I'm not a doctor either. In case I am not a doctor. Make sure you find a good one. I did go to a naturopath once. At that time, it was an okay experience, but it was one of those things I didn't fall into the normal set of things. At that point, I already had my Ehlers-Danlos diagnosis, which wasn't in her system of stuff. She is actually the one that taught me how to do muscle testing, though, which I highly recommend everybody learn how to do. It's like I pushed back on the diet she wanted me to go to. She wanted me to do a candida cleanse thing. And literally, I'm like, what am I supposed to eat? I can't eat any of the stuff on this list. Anyway, it was fruits, vegetables. It was a full page list of things you could have. And she's like, oh, come on, you can't be sensitive to this. And I don't even remember what it was, but like turnips. I am super sensitive to turnips. And I know it sounds bizarre. Eat turnips. But I used to like turnips. But, they break me out in hives, so I quit eating them. That is like the best advice for so many things, Jennifer. And the whole finding a new doctor, you'll notice I haven't gone and found a new doctor yet. And yeah, I struggle to lose weight. The way I was able to know that my supplementing thyroid stuff was working is that I quit gaining weight. Going very well. Yeah, I think pretty much any of the autoimmune stuff, I mean, maybe it's not completely cured, but I think it's definitely something that can go away and just be in remission and not have to be something we necessarily are counting spoons on every day. Jill, I'm not sure what you're asking could be genetic. Any of the autoimmune disease, I don't believe so. Ehlers-Danlos definitely is genetic. But like with Ehlers-Danlos, it's genetic. But like the stuff that I'm dealing with issues on now, like MCAS symptoms show up in 66% of EDS patients sometime in their life. So the things. Definitely agree on the healing the gut. Hey, Lori. Sorry I missed you. I'm just going to throw out there, because I'm seeing you guys talking about fermented foods. Just be aware that if you have histamine issues, all fermented foods are high histamine. And definitely start small. But like, so I tested ferments again about a month ago as part of that class that I was doing. And by the way, I know I had mentioned it to you guys, I am not signing up for the third quarter of that. I was not getting anything out of it. But even as much as a small, like, teaspoonful, I would be running to the bathroom like an hour and a half later. So just be aware that definitely start small. And if you have histamine issues, it's not a good idea until you get your bucket figured out. Magnesium is my current downfall. I struggle because I can't take oral magnesium and I forget to do lotions. And see, this is what I'm waiting for, because I know once my body's in alignment, then it will drop. Hi, Michael and Bonnie Jean. Yeah, Jill, I think I am in agreement. I have been on here almost 2 hours. and I was only planning on staying on an hour. I actually don't buy magnesium lotion. What I did, so at one point I was getting regular massages to help with some of the EDS symptoms. And so I knew what my massage therapist used. I didn't react to lotion-wise. And it comes in a cream, like a really super thick lotion. So I got that, and then I got the let me go grab it, and I will be right back. And then I can give you brands and things. I bought both on Amazon. Okay. Oh, yeah, I definitely agree with Michelle Noel. If you think about it, most families are in similar environmental situations. So hereditary, for something to be deemed hereditary, it's got to be linked to specific genes that are passed down. All right, so it's don't drop it on the computer, it's heavy. All right, so I take massage cream. It's Bon Vital, and it's the muscle therapy with jojoba and dwarf pine oil. And it's really super thick. I mean, it's, you know, it's not running. Okay? And then I mix it equal parts with magnesium bath flakes from Ancient Minerals. And if you want to know what kind of magnesium this is, it is magnesium chloride. Now, I will caution you. If you want to, I started out using this mixed with almost boiling water, and that makes magnesium oil. It's not really oil, but that's what they call it. And it will work. It worked for several years for me. But you want to only put it on the fleshiest parts of your body, and be aware that it will, if you're deficient in magnesium, it will be very itchy and tingly and almost unbearable to some degree. So I don't notice that effect when it's mixed with lotion. Either one can leave sort of an ashiness, but with the lotion, that's not nearly as bad. But your skin won't absorb more than what you need. Whereas if you're taking it orally, too much will lead to hot flashes and things like that, which are not fun. And I was probably 32 or 33 at the time and having hot flashes. So anyway, and a pound of this is like $16, and it lasts quite a while. And I just put it in a bowl with equal amounts of this and take a whisk. It does take a while, and then I put it into a pump bottle. Michelle Noel, the biggest help for my budget on all the supplements, I actually capsulize most all of the stuff that I take myself. The Oregon grape, I have not found a source for that's not already pre-capsulized. Vitamin D, my B complex, and my selenium. Oh, selenium and zinc. I take both of those, and those are also both. The zinc has been kind of interesting, and it's pretty much wherever I can get it, I buy, because it's been really hard to get for the last year. But since I started capsulating my own, basically what I spent on 2 months worth of supplements will now buy about 2 years worth of product. So, much more doable. Much more doable. But yes, it is expensive, and I'm willing to pay for that. At the same time, it would be nice to not be paying for things that I don't use. And I am sorry this got negative, you guys. Is the insurance system the way I would want it? No, I'm just trying to find ways to work around it. I was probably spending close to $200 every 2 months to buy the stuff that I was taking. And I have since added some to that. And I was just in a position, if I wanted to be able to pay my bills, I had to figure something out. And a lot of it was last year when I wasn't drawing a normal paycheck anymore. It's like, what am I going to do? And it's drastically helped me. Yeah, and if you guys don't need to worry about it, don't. Probably the only thing I find frustrating with some of my supplements is I can't it's one of those things that putting the capsules together, it's kind of like rolling your own cigarettes. It was sort of meditative and therapeutic in a way. But EDS can almost be, well, and in fact, they treat you for arthritis. So sitting there and working like this for extended periods of time, it's one of those things. I need to work 15 minutes into my day over an extended period of time to make it happen. But you know what? It is well worth the time for me because it's making so many other things in my life possible right now because I haven't had that money flowing out. I've never even heard of Pro Boost. I was going to say, while I'm waiting on you to answer that, and I'm sorry about the shakiness. I need to find a more... This is the kind of pump bottle and you can put, and obviously it's still kind of thick, but it's at least more of a normal lotion consistency. I did not take any of like the branded supplements from there. He did a really good job of saying, okay, there's these tests you can get this is like kind of order of optimal. And then he did a really good job of like, okay, this would be the recommended thing supplement wise, or this would be the recommended thing prescription wise. And he gave you both sides of the spectrum. And he would usually say, if you can't get this supplement that they made, you know, look into, you know, this, and this vitamin, or like, or into this grouping of herbs type of stuff. And so I just always looked into the other stuff that he recommended, because I looked at the branded supplements once, and they were astronomically expensive for me, because at the time I was a student living on student loans. Do you mind if I ask what's in it? I don't know. I like that. I was going to say, I mean, that's all so many of us want, I think, is, you know, to feel better. And I know I've taken some heat over the years, because people were like, well, did you get diagnosed with it? Well, no, I didn't have the money to pay out of pocket because I didn't have insurance. Have a good night, Michelle. Sweet dreams. But yeah, I mean, all I wanted to do was feel better. So if I could do that without taking 2 or 3 years to get diagnosed with something, I was all for it. Michelle, I'm going to start asking you if you've been drinking your water. Helps jumpstart abdominal and has been called thymic protein. Yeah, exactly. Well, and like so many, it's like so many with people getting tested for gluten, so much of it is, it's like, if they test for celiac and you go through what it takes to get diagnosed with celiac, but then it's like, oh, well, you have the symptoms of celiac, but your tests don't come back that you're allergic to gluten or whatever. If eating gluten-free makes you feel better, eat gluten-free. I know it does me. Thymic protein A. I still have a copy of the book. I have given several copies away over the years, and I always wind up replacing it. So have a good night, Michelle. So I'll look into that because I don't know what it is. I can tell you that one of the big things I started taking for my immune system was astragalus root, and that has also been beneficial for my son as well. But I do think I am going to let you guys go. It has been 2 hours, and I need to go see what my kiddos are up to. So thank you so much for coming in. Have a great night. I will see you guys again next week.